let's start the class. After I start, I have already spent 9 minutes to give to allow you to come in the class. So I shall not allow anybody more to attend the class. I shall not give entry to anybody else after starting my class. I have taught up to this. Can you hear me and see the slide?
No, ma'am, we cannot see the slide, but we can hear you.
Okay, that means I have not shared. 1 minute. Now I hope you can see the slide.
Yes, ma'am.
Now can you see this was the last slide of the last class. Do you have any doubt in the topic I have covered in last class? Then let me clear that one at first. I hope no. So let us proceed. I shall not allow anybody else right now. Then next topic is, so per unit value we can calculate with using a base value. So it is nothing but another type of percentage calculation or ratio calculation. So the thing is that when there is a change in base quantity, then how we can handle the per unit value, or what will be the change in per unit value? Sometimes it happens the only per unit value is given and actual value is not known. Then, but we want to change the base for the ease of our computation. Then what will be the formula so that we can change the existing per unit value to the new per unit value corresponding to the new base that we want to implement. So these are very easy. Actually, this is an application of ratio of mathematics. So if we have a system 1, can you see the slide? Change in per unit value due to change in base quantities. Can you see the slide? Okay, if it's not visible, I am discussing, then you should tell me. Then let us have a system. Let us assume that there is a system for which we know the per unit value for these base values. For the system 1, IB1 and VB1 are the base quantities for which we corresponds to which we know the per unit quantities. IB1 may be derived from the base MVA or base VA. So instead of IB1, VB1, SB1 and VB1 may be also known. Any one of IB1 and SB1 is sufficient to calculate the per unit quantities. Then the say current per unit value is I1 per unit, voltage is V1 per unit. 1 represent the base quantities of these IB1 and VB1. Similarly, impedance Z1 per unit, admittance Y1 per unit. Now let us assume that due to some reason we want to change the base only. That means new base is IB2 and VB2. So system 2 means base system 2, not the power system 2. For the same power system, at first the base system is IB1, IB2, IB1, VB1. For the next, the base values are IB2 and VB2. So here system may not means power system. That means per unit system with one base value, that is VB1 by IB1, and another base value VB2 IB2. Now we want to calculate current, voltage, impedance, admittance, all are in per unit. Let us denote all those values as I2 per unit, V2 per unit, and so on. Then let us assume these are A corresponds to the actual quantities. So IA, VA, ZA, YA, all are actual quantities of the parameters. Then obviously using the base system 1, I1 per unit is I1 by IB1. Similarly using base system 2, I2 per unit is I1 by IB2, IA by IB2. Now IA is obviously same because this is the actual value. Then if we equate the IA, then we can get an equation between per unit relationship between per unit quantities and base quantities. So among these four, if any three are known, then we can calculate the remaining one. So for to change the base, if you know per unit value for a particular base, then if we want to change that base quantity, we have no need to know the actual quantity. We can easily calculate the per unit value of the quantity in the new base system if we know the old base and old per unit value. That is sufficient. So obviously, simply the I2 per unit will be I1 per unit into IB1 by IB2. Now IB1 or IB2 we can write in terms of volt ampere and volt. So IB1 will be VB1 by SB1 by VB1 and IB2 is SB2 by VB2. Conjugate is not there because they are base quantities. So if you conjugate that, it is a power factor like 1. So actually this is meaningless. So it will again come same. So I2 per unit we can easily calculate. Similarly, we can it is applicable for voltage also. So therefore, there is no need to know the actual value to know the new per unit value. If old value, old per unit value, old base value, and new base value are known. Now for impedance, you know the impedance equal to actual value into volt ampere by base voltage square. Then from there we can derive actual value is Z1 per unit into VBN square by SB1. Similarly, Z2 per unit will be actual into VA of base system 2 by VB square of the base system 2. So if we just substitute ZA, then we can get a relationship between the per unit value of the old based on old quantities and new quantities. Can you see the slide?
No, ma'am, it has not changed.
Then why you are not prompting me? Because it is my habit that slide will change automatically. Are you doing the class in phone or computer?
Computer, ma'am.
Computer also side is not changing.
No, ma'am, it is not.
Anyway. So if it is in terms of impedance, then Z1 per unit is actual into volt ampere by volt square. So from there we can derive actual quantity. Then next, Z2 per unit is actual quantity into new base value by new base value of volt ampere by base value of voltage square. So in that way, if we substitute this ZA, then we can get the relationship between old per unit value and new per unit value. So we can get a relationship. In that way, it is applicable for admittance, volt ampere in every case. So I have shown these two because these are very easy. You can derive the others when it is required. Right? Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
The next is it is also required to represent the
Ma'am, we cannot see the
the
slide, ma'am.
okay again. Actually, it is my habit. I have to switch over to the PDF. Then per unit value. Can you see? Do you see the slide all the display all together or animation is visible?
We can see all the slides on the left, 15, 16, 17, like that.
All okay. Then that means PowerPoint's presentation is not going on.
Ma'am, that is maybe because you have just shared the PowerPoint presentation, the window, and the slideshow is running in another tab.
It may happen. Let me then
Ma'am,
change
you
it.
can try doing it, share entire screen.
Screen.
I am doing that one. I am doing that one. That is better. Then I am stopped. Otherwise, that may be the problem. Let me complete that. Let me do that one. Enter screen. Enter screen. Then I am not getting the power. This one. No. Now can you see the slide right now?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
And animation also.
No, now only the
Yes, ma'am.
slide. Like the slideshow we are seeing.
Yes, ma'am, the slideshow is happening now.
No, the topics are coming one by one, and total write up in the slide are coming all together.
Ma'am,
One by one.
Okay. Then, for we want to represent the per unit value of system power series impedance of equivalent circuit of a transformer also in we want to improve. We want to know the per unit value of the all components of equivalent circuit of a transformer. Why? Because we want to represent a power system by a circuit. So every component must be represented by a circuit. So transformer has a equivalent circuit. The parameter of those equivalent circuit we may calculate using we may get using the some performing some test, short circuit test and open circuit test. And this is the equivalent circuit of transformer referred to primary. That means that there is obviously along with this there is a ideal transformer on the at the last of the secondary side. I hope you know that, right? So what is the meaning of ideal transformer? From primary to secondary, only there will be step up or step down. There is no voltage or impedance across this ideal transformer. Whatever the discrepancy come due to the actual transformer, that we have incorporated within the equivalent circuit. I think you know that. Is there any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Then Then we can represent this equivalent circuit referred to primary or referred to secondary also as per our requirement. Now, in case of power system application, we do not bother about the shunt branch of the equivalent circuit much. Why? Because in the power system, transformer generally expected to operate at full load. So if the transformer is operating at full load, then the series branch current of it on the equivalent circuit is far higher than the shunt branch current, because shunt branch current is only the magnetizing current. So in that way, when we are assessing the performance, we can neglect the shunt branch, right? But when there is a nominal condition, current may change, then obviously we shall consider shunt branch. I shall discuss it when it will be applicable. Anyway, then here we are, that's why we are only representing, we are interested in the series impedance part. That means R1 X1, R2 dash X2 dash. Because the total impedance in the on the primary side, obviously R1 plus J R2 dash plus R2 plus R1 plus R2 dash plus JX1 plus jx2 dash. But when it will be referred to secondary, the things will be entirely different and the values will be totally changed. There is very much difference in between these two values. Now this property of transformer equivalent circuit may be easily handled if we use the per unit system. Now in per unit system, if it is not mentioned, always we calculate per unit quantities based on the apparatus own rating. Say for transformer, its own rating is in terms of kVA and volt. So in primary side, base quantities will be its primary voltage and its kVA rating. In secondary side, its base quantities will be its secondary voltage and the kVA rating. Now, if Z1E is the equivalent series impedance of the transformer referred to primary, then Z1E obviously R1 plus JX1 plus R2 plus JX2 into N1 by N2 whole square. N1 and N2 are the tap ratio of number of turns in primary and secondary. Similarly, equivalent impedance referred to secondary will be just opposite. R1 plus JX1 will be multiplied by N2 by N1 whole square plus R2 by JX2. You know all this. Now these values are totally different. Then let us see what will happen to these values if we transfer all these to in terms of per unit quantities. Now you can observe one thing. Z2E is always Z1E into N2 by N1 square whole square, and vice versa. Z1E is Z2E into N1 by N2 whole square. Can you see the next slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Then the base quantities on primary side, say IB1, BB1 and ZB1, generally rated quantities are the base quantities. Then if we want to calculate per unit value of the series impedance of the transformer referred to primary, Then we must divide it by the base impedance referred on the primary side. Then what is the base impedance in the primary side? Base voltage in the primary side by base current in the primary side. IB1 may be converted in terms of SB1 and VB1 also. But that is not required here, so I have not done. So obviously it is Z1E into IB1 by VB1, VB1. Now, if we assume that base quantities on secondary side similarly similarly are IB2, VB2, and ZB2, then Z2 per unit, obviously Z2, the actual voltage, actual impedance Z2E by base voltage, base impedance in the secondary side. So in secondary side, secondary voltage by secondary base current. So this will be the expression. Now if we start from the Z2E. Now for transformer there is a basic relation, that is current MMF is constant, so N1 IB1 is equal to N2 IB2. Similarly, voltage per turn will be same, that means VB1 by N1 must be equal to VB2 by N2. This relationship is valid for transformer. Then if we start from Z2E, Z2E we have seen Z2E per unit is Z2E into IB2 by VB2. Now IB2 and VB2 we may replace by these equations. And Z2E we can replace by Z1E into N2 by N1 whole square. Okay. Then we can get all these N1, N2 terms will be cancelled out. It will be simply Z1E into IB1 by VB1.
Okay.
So that means that is equal to Z1E per unit. That means that if we represent the equivalent impedance referred to primary or secondary in terms of per unit, then the value will be same. So we have no need to bother about the primary side and secondary side.
অ্যানালিটিক্যাল কনসেপ্ট আছে
Okay.
না স্টার ডেল্টা লাগাতে হবে না একটা অ্যানালিটিক্যাল
So say there is a transformer
আচ্ছা
like this, say in a single line diagram, then there is a series impedance.
তো রনক দাকে কি আমি ফোন করতে পারি
Say if the series impedance referred to primary, you have
ঠিক আছে
calculated Z1 per unit or Z1E per unit. I cannot write in this way.
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে আমি
So
ক্লাসে
Z1E per unit referred to primary. Say so. After that there should be an ideal transformer. So ideal transformer means this side is V1, this side is V2. Now we have seen for the per unit system, if we represent the if we calculate the equivalent impedance referred to primary or secondary, they are same. So either on this side or this side, this impedance value will be same. Now in per unit, the primary side base voltage is primary rated voltage and secondary side base voltage is secondary rated voltage. So this side is 1 per unit and this side is also 1 per unit. So if we are drawing the actual circuit in terms of per unit system, then we have no need to bother about ideal transformer only. Also, we just draw the impedance in per unit and that is sufficient, because in per unit both are 1 per unit, so we can short them very easily. But when we shall return to the actual quantity, say this point is A and this point is B. So this point is B here, this point is A. Then then at A point and B point the base quantities are same, base quantities are different. So we shall multiply the per unit value available with the corresponding base quantities, then we can easily get the actual quantity. But where the advantage is lying, that we have no need to, when we are calculating, we have no need to bother about this transformer, ideal transformer, that is V1 and V2 are not same, and we have no need to bother about the Z1 or Z2, because Z1 and Z2 both are in per unit system. Z1E and Z2E both in per unit system are same. Understood or not?
Yes.
Understood. So these are same. This question comes in examination. Prove that in per unit impedance for a single phase transformer referred to primary or secondary will be same. So that is written here. Therefore, permanent series impedance of transformer is same. Either base quantities are assumed from primary side or secondary side. Obviously, when you are calculating from primary side, you should take the actual value as the actual value as the impedance referred to primary. Otherwise, this calculation will be wrong. And when you are calculating from secondary side, then you should take the actual values referred to the secondary. Obviously, that one. And this is applicable for three-phase transformer also. Now, sometimes we do not write base voltage or base MVA. We directly write MVA and KV. Do not write VB and SB. Anyway, both are the same thing. So, a base MVA is SB, that is MVA base, that is VBIB into 10 to the power minus 6. Similarly, base kV is kV in base, that is VB into 10 to the power minus 3. So here this unit of this VBIB into the power minus 6 is simply volt ampere, and VB into 10 to the power minus 3 is simply volt. Then ZB obviously V square by MVA, because when you are squaring KV square, then 10 to the power minus 3 will be square 10 to the power minus 6. So this 10 to the power minus 6 and minus 6 will be cancelled out. If the unit will be same. You can verify it. So when we are calculating using a base quantity, simply it will be Z ohm into MVA by KV square. You can derive it yourself, so you can do it. I am not explaining. Similarly, if there be any change in base, then for second base, it will first base per unit value in first base into MVA of second base by MVA of first base into KV of first base by MVA of KV of second base. This thing I have already derived here. This thing, okay, this one we can write in terms of MVA and KV also. When we do a numerical example, then it will be more comfortable for you when you will do, if you do the calculation in terms of MVA and KV. Both are same. Whatever you feel comfortable, you can do that one. Now, why we have gone through this chapter? What is the use of per unit system? Actually, the aim was to represent per unit system more comfortably, to represent a power system more comfortably, so that we can get a circuit, so that we can solve it. We can calculate voltage, current at different point, so that we can calculate transmission line loss, efficiency, all those things. So that is the main purpose of per unit system, to overcome the star delta conversion problem, to overcome the transformer primary secondary problem, all those, to overcome the different voltage level problem in the power system. So to overcome those, we have done this one. What is the advantage of per unit system? I have not written. You write it yourself. It is available in any book, and I have discussed already this one, but I have not made any slide for that. You do it yourself. Then how we can develop per phase reactance diagram or impedance diagram from single line diagram? So single line diagram is this one. This is called the single line diagram. So from there you need a circuit. So how we can do that one? So at first we need a base MVA. So when you are calculating equivalent circuit for total system, then base MVA should be same for the full system. So you have to select a suitable base MVA for the system. Base MVA actually may be anything, but generally we take 100 MVA as the base, because anything divided by 100 is easier. There will be change in only decimal point, but any other base may be used. Identify base kV of each section and of the given power system. Maximum kV rating of the particular section is generally assumed to be base kV for that section. Say here, the base voltage cannot be same for the total system, because for this from this generator to transformer, of this transformer primary, the voltage level is 11 kV. So for this zone, the base voltage will be 11 kV. From transformer T1 secondary to transformer T2 primary, the voltage level is 132 kV at the ideal operating condition. Obviously, transmission line will have some loss, so the voltage will be to some extent less than that under normal operating condition, under full load condition. Anyway, then base voltage obviously will be 132 kV. That's why it is written select suitable base voltage for that particular section. Why suitable? Not that particular, only the maximum it is written. It may happen all the transformer are not of same rating. So this transformer is of rating 11 by 132 kV, but this side the rating is 132, 131.6 kV. Then you have to take 132 kV as the base kV. You can take 131.6 as base kV also, there is no problem. But if you take 131.6 as base kV, then 132 kV will come more than 1. Then this more than 1 has come due to per unit system or due to system performance, you cannot assess. So it is always better that rated quantity with maximum value of per unit voltage must be 1 if we derive from per unit quantities. That's why we take the base voltage as the maximum voltage of that section as the as base voltage. So if we take 130, say this side is 132 kV and this side say 131.6. Then if we take the 132 kV as base voltage, then this side will be 1 per unit, this side something point 0.9 something will come. Okay. So now due to capacitive load or anything voltage rise, then there is another issue. Otherwise, that 1 per unit is the maximum voltage that we have assigned from the per unit system. For example, for 11 kV system, if you take 10 kV base voltage, it is a ratio only. You can easily take. But in that case, all the voltage will be more than 1. It is not expected. You always take that as 11 kV. So the normal voltage should be rated 100%. That's why we take 1 per unit. So identify the base kV of each section of the given power system. Maximum kV rating of the particular section is generally assumed to be base kV for that section, because we cannot make anything rigid. You can do anything because it is a ratio, nothing more than that. Then calculate per unit value of base volt, impedance or reactance, and voltages if applicable. Voltages means the generator will have output voltage. The alternator, the motor, synchronous motor may have some terminal voltage. But for transmission line, there is no voltage. So voltage calculation is whenever it is applicable. But transmission line has an impedance, generator has an impedance, transformer has an impedance. Everywhere you have to calculate the impedance or reactance. Sometimes resistance are negligible, so it is written impedances or reactance. Then draw the per phase, so you calculate all the values. Then draw the per phase reactance diagram or impedance diagram on per phase basis following the single line diagram. So from single line diagram, you can see the connection, and from the information given, you can calculate all the quantities. Then based on quantities, based on the connection given, you can draw the actual circuit. I am showing you one example. You practice this type of example from any book. So this is the example. So there is a transformer generator. This is the same system that I have shown at first without these values. I have not shown value in that at that time. So this is generator. All the values you can see is given in terms of per unit. Then we want to draw the impedance diagram of the system. Why to draw? Then that I shall discuss later. At first, let us draw. Then, if we want to draw, let us start from the transformer and start from the generator. Before that, we have to select one base MVA of the system. So here, maximum MVA available is 50. So divided by 50 also very easy. So you can take base MVA as 50, or you can take base MVA as 100, because division by 100 is also easier. At the same time, maximum MVA available in the system, that is the rating of transformer T2, 60 MVA you may also take as base. Yeah, we have no problem with that. Whatever you feel comfortable, you can take. But if you see the data, if we take transform base MVA as 50, then we have to do two place calculation, because if it base MVA is say 50, then for generator, due to change in MVA, there will be no change in reactance. Similarly, for transformer T1, if base MVA is 50, then base MVA as the actual rating of the transformer. So there will be no change in X. So calculation step will be lesser. So let us take base MVA as 50, but there is nothing mandatory. Whatever you wish, you can take. Then for the generator and transformer T1 section, if the transformers are not marked in your problem, then you should mark it. If you mark it, then if it will be easier for you to write the solution part. Otherwise, how will you indicate the transformer in your write-up? Then for generator and transformer section, base kVA is 11. Do you understand? Are you understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
I am not getting any response from your part. Anyway.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Then generator transformer T1 section, here that means generator transformer, this is a section, okay? So this much. Obviously this much the voltage level is 11 kV. Then base kV is 11. Then two components are there, generator and transformer. Now I am showing you very simple system. So we are going one by one. For very complex system also, you should go one by one. Don't do any hurry. Then there may be mistake. Then for generator G, you identify what is the base kV, what is the base MVA. For this section, we have selected base kV as 11 and base MVA as 50. Generator is of that rating, right? So there will be no change in X. It will be same. Now, if there be this voltage be 11 kV, 10.9 kV instead of 11 kV, then we have to change it accordingly. Okay, so in that way we have to proceed. Then generated voltage, because generator will generate a voltage, then what will be the output voltage? 10.9 kV, 11 kV. So base voltage is 11 kV. So 11 by 11, 1 per unit. So its output voltage will be 1 per unit. Then for transformer T1, the base kV, if we consider primary side, base kV is 11 and the base MVA is 50. So there will be no change. So obviously XT1 will remain unchanged. If there be change, you can do it. Then the next section. The next section is this one, transmission line. Here to here. So for transmission line, voltage level is 132 kV and impedance is given in terms of ohm. So you have to convert it into per unit. So base MVA is 50, base voltage is 132, actual value is 25 plus J75. So you can calculate the ohm, the impedance in per unit. So Z line is actual value into MVA by VB square. So this will be the thing. I have written here this one also because this is first time the numerical calculations. Then the remaining section is T2 and the motor section. That means this one from here to motor, right? Throughout this section, every component has 33 kV voltage and this transformer is 60 MVA, 0.12 kV. Okay. Now you see, if you consider this transformer on primary side also, there is no issue, because primary side for transformer T2 voltage level is 132 kV, and the secondary side voltage level is 33 kV. So both are the base voltages. So there will be no change in reactance due to the change in base voltage. There will be change in reactance only due to change in base MVA, because when this 0.12 per unit, the reactance of transformer T2, it is calculated based on 60 MVA. Based on its own rating, the transformer T2 rating is 60 MVA. Now for the total system, now new base is 50 MVA. So we have to convert it in the 50 MVA base. So T2 base kV is 33. Always write this one. Base kV is 33, base MVA is 50. Then there will be lesser chance of mistake. So here it may happen that it is not 33, it is 32.9, and all the other voltage is 33. So you have taken 33 as base kV. So in that case you have to change it according to the base change in base voltage also. So always write that what is the base kV and what is the base MVA. So then there will be lesser chance of mistake. So for transformer T2, base kV is 33, base MVA is 50, but equipment rating is 60 MVA. That means the 0.12 per unit is calculated based on equipment rating. So therefore, with new base quantities, X2 will be into 50 by 60, because for the MVA it is directly proportional. For volt it is inversely proportional. I have written these equations. You go through it if required. Then for motor M1, base voltage is, when I have written for motor also base voltage every time, it may happen two motors are connected but their voltage rating is slightly different. Then we have to consider that in per unit system, otherwise calculation will be wrong. So here there is no such issue. So base voltage is 33 kV. Now base MVA is 50, but motor MVA is 30. So there will be change in due to motor MVA only. Similarly, for motor M2, base voltage is same, but MVA is 20. So there will be change that corresponds to that. So we have got all the parameters, right, in terms of per unit. Now we have to calculate motor internal voltage for both the motors. The terminal voltage is 33 kV, so 1 per unit. If nothing is mentioned for this type of problem, the motors are synchronous motors. Why? Because actually we generally calculate this reactance diagram for fault calculation. And in fault calculation, that means abnormal condition, the who will contribute to the current, the sources. Now induction motor does not behave as a source and otherwise it is internal excitation, but when if there is synchronous motor, then it has an induced EMF and it can send the current in reverse direction. So it will act as a source of current when there is a fault. So for synchronous motor, it will require to consider, and generally if nothing is mentioned, then it will be synchronous motor. We shall represent it as voltage behind the reactance. Otherwise, if it is induction motor, then we shall represent it by its equivalent circuit. And if you see the equivalent circuit of induction motor, there is no active component there, but in the equivalent circuit of synchronous motor, there is a induced EMF in the equivalent circuit. Now, if we draw the reactance diagram, so you cannot draw it at first, you know this one. So if we do per phase basis, so this one is reference, obviously, as you have seen in your power system planning design class. So this is the reference. Then I should not write here ground because reference may be somewhat different also. Anyway, I have written the ground here. Then generator at first, generator has reactance this one and its voltage is 11 kV, so 1 per unit. So generator alternator is represented by voltage behind the reactance. So this is the terminal actually. This terminal is this one. Can you see this one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Then obviously this is the generator reactance, you know, generator voltage, you know, so generator part is over. Then there is a transformer. For transformer, you have seen that reactance is only 0.1 per unit. You cannot memorize it because we cannot see the total page right now, but it is known. So we can put that one. So for transformer, in primary, secondary, both the side voltage are 1 per unit. So they are same. So we have no need to put any transformer right now. Now obviously this side the base voltage is 11 kV and this side the base voltage is 132 kV, right? So in that way, if we want to calculate the actual quantity, we can calculate. And always we can see this one from the single line diagram. We can check that one, which side has which value. 1 minute. Then for transmission line we have already got some equivalent value in per unit. So we can put that one. Then transformer T2. Then we shall put that transformer T2. For transformer T2, primary side voltage is 132 kV and secondary side is 33 kV, right? You have no need to write these voltages, so I have written here in red color only to inform you, only to show you, because you are learning it first time. But we can easily see this one from the uh, single line diagram. 1 minute. Then there are two motors. These two motors are in parallel, obviously. Then for motor M1, all are synchronous motor. So voltage behind the reactance. So this is the reactance. Behind the voltage is 1 per unit. Why 1 per unit? Because its voltage is 111 kV, 33 kV. So it will be connected to ground. And this side obviously plus. Why plus? Instantaneous value. If this instantaneously this value is plus, then this value will also be plus or positive. Then similarly for motor. So in that way, we can represent total system by an equivalent circuit. These equivalent circuits are per phase basis because all the representation are in per phase basis, right? So we can draw it up to this. Then what is the use of this? I have discarded all those. Now if we want to calculate current anywhere, say what is the generator current? Then we have no need to bother about all these step up or step down. Okay. We just solve this circuit. Easily we can solve. We can find out current here. Right? Same current will be the generator current. Now, if this is the generator current, if I mark it with Ig, then Ig you will find in per unit. Then you just convert that per unit value with the base value of that section. That means root 3 VBIB equal to base MVA of that system. So for the generator section, root 3 VBL is 11 kV. IB you have to calculate, that is equal to 50 MVA. So from there you can calculate IB. So if you know the actual value and if you can calculate per unit value from here, you can easily calculate the generator current here. So the calculation become very easier. Now this type of circuit solution, I shall not give any problem sheet or anything, because in fault calculation we have to do it repeatedly. So if you want to practice, you can practice from any book. Similarly, say if we want to calculate what is the motor current, right? Then we should calculate this one in per unit. So this is simple as series parallel circuit. So you can easily calculate. You add all these. You add all these. One. Sorry. You add all these 1, 2, 3, 4 reactants in series, then these two are in parallel. Then you can easily calculate actual current to the circuit coming from the generator. Then you divide into this through shunt branch, then you can calculate any current. If you want to calculate transmission line current, what is the current of transmission line? You calculate it same as the generator current in per unit. But the current level will be different because base current will be different. For transmission line, voltage level is 132 kV, base voltage, base MVA is 50. So you calculate corresponding base current. From there you calculate transmission line current. Then obviously you see for transmission line current will be lesser than generator current because generator is lower voltage and transmission line has higher voltage level. That's why transmission line has higher voltage level. Understood? Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then I am completing here this class. You go through it, and next class I shall start fault calculation. Similar type of problem, if you can understand this problem and you can do it yourself, then that is sufficient. Otherwise, you go through any book and try to solve the numerical problem your own without seeing that theory from there. The theory I have given, that is sufficient to solve any problem. And come to the next class. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All of you leave the